Hereupon, regretting the errors in the old words and wishing to correct the misstatements in the former chronicles, Her Highness Empress Regnant Genmei, on the 18th day of the 9th moon of the 4th year of Wado, commanded me, Yasumaro, to select and record the old words and dutifully to lift them up to her. I, Yasumaro, with true trembling and true fear, bow my head, bow my head. Court Noble Futo no Yasumaro, Upper Division 1st Class 5th Rank 5th Order of Merit, paused in his writing, shifted his knees ever so slightly to render his kneeling position a little more comfortable, dipped his fine brush into the pitch-black ink, and started his great endeavour, a work to last for all time. Yasumaro went on to render the fables, legends, and vaguely understood myth of ancient times as fact, creating a divine fable to legitimize and deify the rule of his very human imperial masters, and the right of his people, the Yamato, to dominate all the other tribes and peoples of the land we now know as Japan. He described how Izanagi and Izanami first created the islands, mountains, rivers, herbs, and trees, with drops of water from a coral spear. Then they begat the Lord of the Universe, the Sun Goddess Amaterasu, the greatest of their divine children. She sent her grandson, Ninigi no Mikado, to Earth as the first ruler of the land. But it was not only Ninigi who descended to Earth. His father, Susanoo, god of storms, uncouth and brash, was banished from heaven for his foul and evil behavior. While Susanoo's people conquered and flourished in Izumo in the west of the island of Honshu, Ninigi's people also prospered and multiplied in the south. Within 3 generations they had grown powerful enough to thrust north to central Honshu, battling foes to establish a new power base. Its names were myriad, but most know it as Yamatai. Yamatai was ruled over by an emperor, Jimmu, the first of a line that was to last forever. Of course, it was probably not quite as Yasumaro told it. For Yasumaro to serve a deity, the imperial line required divine blood, and so Yasumaro wove the myriad myths of the Yamato people into a solid story, and in doing so discovered a royal lineage that stretched back to the sun herself. The Amaterasu of his story was probably based upon the legendary great 3rd century shaman queen Himiko. Susanoo, her brother, and his fight with her may have represented a royal disagreement as much as a heavenly battle. His was a work of propaganda, akin to the Roman Aeneid, which wove together vaguely remembered myth, heroic legend, and outright fabrications to legitimize the rule of Augustus Caesar in Rome, or the secret history of the Mongols, which did the same for Genghis Khan. The original settlers of Japan, however, came in a far more human guise. They first crossed land bridges from the Asian mainland tens of thousands of years before, and continued to arrive in small groups from all directions for eons afterwards. The population was small, perhaps 160,000 at its height, and so these people, called Jōmon after the rope patterns they left on their pottery, are thought to have lived a life of hunting and gathering the plentiful resources they found around them. They did not know of war until a new people began to make landfall. These were the people whose myths Yasumaro wrote as fact. The many-fenced palace of the god of storms was copied across the islands by a new and acquisitive, ambitious people who coveted the land and protected a newly engineered resource, the rice field. These are known as the Yayoi people, and Japan would never be the same again. The ancient Chinese kingdom of Wu, where Shanghai now stands, was believed by the ancient Japanese to be where their ancestors came from, refugees from that kingdom, which was destroyed around the time that the Yayoi are believed to have migrated to Japan. Descriptions of the Wu and the Wa, as the Japanese were originally known in Chinese, their tattoos and warlike nature certainly seem to bear more than a passing resemblance. The archaeological and DNA record shows that a large body of the Yayoi period Japanese came from the north, Siberia, through Mongolia and Manchuria, down the Korean peninsula and across the seas. Some modern research also suggests that material and cultural similarities with civilizations on Java and other parts of Southeast Asia may exist. What is certain is that the Yayoi people were not the final pre-Japanese history humans to migrate to the Japanese Isles. Sometime in the first few centuries of the Common Era, a time of turmoil and war on the continent, a massive wave of people came from northern China, bringing with them material wealth and knowledge to improve just about every facet of human life on the islands. Some became nobles, had their names recorded, and entered the chronicles. Place and family names connecting modern Japan with these ancient settlers can be found to this day, but the exact details of early Japan can still be said to be lost in the linguistic and cultural mists of time. Which leaves us with the mystery of just who are the Japanese.